The story goes that a friend visiting him in hospital mentioned that 1729 was the number of the taxi that had brought him, and that it was a boring number. However, Ramanujan pointed out that 1729 is the smallest, non-trivial number that can be formed as the sum of two cubes in two different ways. In other words, 12 cubed, 12 times 12 times 12, plus 1 cubed equals 1729. And, wait for it, 9 cubed plus 10 cubed also equals 1729. 1729, a crazy mixed-up kind of number, I think you'll agree. Ramanujan was said to be a close personal friend of every single number, largely thanks to introductions by the Hindu goddess Namgiri. Now, I can't promise you divine insights into every number, but I do hope I can introduce you to 5 of my favourites, starting naturally enough with 0. Dave Gorman again.
You start off with 0 and you work in sort of positive integers, and without 0 you can have no negative numbers. And negative numbers are something that most people kind of now freely understand as well, because it was only the kids at school who struggled to understand negative numbers who are now in debt, ironically. And then again, when you're playing with your negative numbers, when you want to try and manipulate them, that's when you get to somebody saying, so what's the square root of -1?
And what is the square root of -1?
And the square root of -1 is this imaginary number that we call I.
So you're continually, new numbers are being developed. And pi is a classic number. It's not negative, it's not imaginary, but it's weird because it goes on forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, and again, when you first come across your irrational numbers with their infinite number of decimal places, I think is where a lot of people get their first grasp of infinity.
And again, I mean, infinity is another concept. There was a point in history, a definite date, where somebody had to get their head around it and begin to symbolise it.
Yeah, and even if it is just sort of 3.333333333, and if you wanted to try and write it all down, you'd still be writing it down now, which means you'd be late for history.
So where does the history of 0 start? Well, there was a time when mathematicians didn't even know about 0. The word, the symbol, the very concept of 0 hadn't been invented. Or is that discovered? Either way, as Ian Stewart of Warwick University points out, there came a time when mathematics couldn't progress without 0.
Arithmetic works much better if you think of 0 as a number. What's 3 take away 3?
0.
Exactly, and it's a physical thing you can do.
So in maths, if you ask a question, in theory at least, you should have an answer for it, and if you don't allow 0 to be a number, then there are some questions that don't have answers.
That's right. If introducing some new concept leaves the old concepts nicely undisturbed and somehow completes the concept in the sense that more questions have answers, then that's always a good thing to do.
So you need 0 in order to represent nothing in an equation. But before it was used in that way, it was used simply as a placeholder. John Barrow, author of the Book of Nothing.
If we write down 1, 2, 3, we read it automatically as 123. We don't read it as 1 and a 2 and a 3. So what's going on there is that the positions of the symbols carry information. They behave differently, say, to the Romans. If you were to write 1, 1, 1 in Roman numerals, it doesn't mean 111 at all.
Or
it means 3.
If I write the letter C, it means 100, wherever that C appears.
That's right. So the idea of the relative positions of things carrying information was a Babylonian invention. And once you do it, you see you have to have a way of signalling that one of the slots is empty. That 1, 1 means something different to 1, 0, 1.
It's the Hindu-Arabic system with the digits 1 to 9, where you suddenly realise you've got to have a 0 as well, because you've got to be able to say, don't put any numbers in this particular position. It probably came out of notation for an abacus. And if you're inventing a symbol to represent the state of an abacus, you would have to have something that says, this column of the abacus does not have any beads in it. 0 has come in as an irreducible component of the whole thing, and it just will not work without it. And the number system's so useful that 0 suddenly turns into a real mathematical concept.
Nothing really matters to me.
22 minutes past 7 on Triple J. Adam Spencer with you. Let's have a look at the weather around Australia. Canberra sunny and 25, that's 5 squared. Alice Springs fine and 22, 2 times 11. Perth fine and 16, that's 2 to the power of 4, or 4 to the power of 2. It's the only number that can be written in reverse power format like that. Leonard Euler proved that one. Anyway, let's have a song.